I am making a Tachyon Dragon FTK deck profile. I was working on the deck a little bit. Finally, I think it still worked. There's one thing I would change, but I'll get to that when I get to it, which ironically should be the very first card. Yeah. Starting off with the monsters, I play one copy of Tachyon Cloud Dragon. I'm also thinking about bumping it up to 2 and taking out one of the spell cards, which I'll say which one that is when I get there. The Cloud Dragon has the effect that you can, when it's added from your deck to your hand, you can special summon it, so it's basically it's Snake Eyes Poplar. And then you contribute it so then special summon a Tachyon monster from your deck or graveyard. It has another effect where you can attach as material, but that effect is never used, so. And next, I play 3 copies of Starleash Safer. Safer has the effect that while it's on field, I specified on field part because one of my friends didn't realize it has to be on field for that effect. But you can send any number of dragons from your hand or face up field to the graveyard to then add a dragon with a level equal to the level of those sent dragons, which usually it'll send itself to add Cloud Dragon will summon itself. And then it also has the grave effect that you can banish it to then target a level 8 dragon in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And you can only use each effect as Starleash Safer once per turn. And then because it says the FTK version, I play 1 copy of Catapult Turtle. Just lets you tribute monsters and then deal half their attack as damage to your opponent. And then next I play 1 copy of Bestial Baldrake. Baldrake, or all the level 6 bestials share the effect of you can target a light or dark monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, or you target a light or dark monster in either graveyard. Almost got that wrong. And then banish that target. If you do, summon the monster, and then they each have their own unique effects from there. Baldrakes is if your opponent summons a Fusion, Synchro, XZs, or Link monster, then you contribute, or is it also Pendulum? I can't remember if Pendulum or Ritual is listed. Nope, Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, XZs, or Link monsters summoned. Then you contribute 1 other light or dark monster to then target one of the summoned monsters and banish it. 1 copy of Magnamut. Magnamut just has the effect that you can activate its effect on summon, so at the end of the turn, you can add a dragon from your deck to your hand. 1 copy of Druisworm. Druisworm, just when it's sent from field to grave, you target a special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to graveyard. And lastly is 3 copies of Bestial Serenir. When Serenir goes to the graveyard, you can send any bestial or a branded continuous spell or trap from deck to grave. Next, I play 2 copies of Nebula Dragon. Nebula Dragon lets you reveal lets you reveal a level 8 dragon in your hand, summon both itself and the revealed monster. That revealed monster that summoned has its effects negated. And then this card's in your graveyard, you can banish it to return a level 4 dragon from your graveyard to your hand. So you actually use this to return Cloud Dragon to your hand, and then because Cloud Dragon is added to your hand, except by drawing it, then you can then re-summon it. And then next, I play 3 copies of Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon. Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon has the effect that if you control no monsters or your opponent has a monster at 2,000 or more attack on the field, you can special summon it. And then or you summon itself and a level 8 dragon from your deck with its effects negated. And then if you use that effect, you are locked into Dragon XZs from the extra deck for the entirety of the turn. Which, considering the deck this is in, that's not really a bad thing. And then next, I play 2 copies of Galactic Spiral Dragon. Galactic Spiral Dragon is the monster that Infinity Dragon will normally summon. As while it's in the graveyard or your hand, you can special summon it as long as you control 2 or more dragons that are light and or dark. And then it has another effect where once per turn you can activate its effect to make all your monsters with a level become level 8. So it turns all your level 6 bestials into level 8s. Or it can also make Cloud Dragon and Safer level 8, but that's not that important. However, one thing I do need to mention is that if you summon Galactic Spiral Dragon with its own effect, it is banished and lose the field. But considering you're probably going to use it to summon a rank 8 Dragon Xyz, that doesn't really matter. Next, I play 3 copies of the Bestial Lubellion. The Bestial Lubellion lets you discard to add any Bestial from your deck to your hand except for another copy of Lubellion. The Lubellion can special summon itself from hand or graveyard by tributing a level 6 Dark Dragon. Or is it level 6 or higher? I can never remember. Level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. And then lastly, once per turn, you can take a branded continuous spell or trap from your deck and place it face up in your spell and trap zone. And then you can only use each of the effects of the Bestial Lubellion once per turn. And lastly, for the monsters, I play 3 copies of Tachyon, Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Primal. Most lists I've seen, most people are only playing 1, but I personally like seeing this at 3, so I play 3. But it has the effect that there's a Dragon Xyz monster on the field, then you can special summon this card to either side of the field, and then it has the effect on when summoned, that the card's owner gets to add a Tachyon spell or trap from their deck to their hand. So if you can summon it to your opponent, a monster effect activates on your opponent's side of the field, and then you get to add a Tachyon spell or trap. And then from there, if you have any triple tactics cards, such as Thrust or Talent, then you can activate them because your opponent has activated a monster effect in the main phase. And then you can Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Primal also has the effect that if a Dragon Xyz monster declares an attack, this card will attach it to that monster as material. But that effect usually doesn't ever come up since, well, it's either being negated and then being OTK'd over, or just doesn't get to do that because FTK. And then you can only use each effect of Galaxy-Eyes Tachyon Primal once per turn, but that little slight loophole of this is, again, you give it to your opponent because now it's your opponent activating the effect and not you. And that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. I play 1 copy of Tachyon Spiral Stream of Destruction. Or not Spiral Stream, Tachyon Spiral of Destruction. This is the card I'm thinking about taking out for the second copy of Cloud Dragon. But it has the effect that you can only activate one of its effects. You can only use one of the following effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. So if you have 3, you can theoretically use all 3 in one turn. Where you can, if you control a Galaxy Xyz monster, destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls with their effects negated. As you can tell, it's probably meant to work with Tachyon Dragon. And then you can target one of your Tachyon cards in your graveyard, except for another Spiral of Destruction to add to your hand. Or you can summon a Dragon Xyz monster from your graveyard. Now I play 1 copy of Brand Regained. Regained has the soft once per turn effect of if your opponent's normal or special summons a monster, then you can special summon a Bestial from your hand or graveyard. I say soft once per turn because if you have multiple copies of Brand Regained in play, you can use that effect once per copy. And then the hard once per turn of its effect is if a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those monsters, put it at the bottom of the owner's deck, and then you get to draw 1 card. The other card I'm debating on taking out for the second Cloud Dragon is 1 copy of Chaos Space. Chaos Space lets you discard a light or dark monster to then add a level 4 or higher light or dark monster of the opposite attribute you discarded from your deck to your hand as long as that card cannot be normal summoned or set. So basically, with this deck, you discard a dark monster and add the Bestial Lubellion. And then Chaos Space also has the Grave effect of being able to banish itself to target, 2? I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. Let's see. Okay, lets you target one of your banished light or dark monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set. Return it to the deck, or place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw 1 card. So if you manage to get an extra deck monster banished, you can just, or if you get Lubellion or an extra deck monster banished, this can just be banished from the graveyard to then put that card at the bottom of the deck, then you can draw 1 card. Like I said, it's one of these 2 are what I take out for the second copy of Cloud Dragon. Next, I play 2 copies of Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. I'm only playing 2 of it because of 7th Ascension's Grave Effect. But it has the effect that cannot be activated unless it was revealed by its own effect, where if you draw it for your draw phase, you can reveal it until your main phase. And at the start of your main phase 1, you can then activate it to summon a monster that has a number, and it's a number monster that has a number between 101 and 107 in its name. And then you summon a chaos. Use that to summon a chaos number that has the same number in its name. So you can summon Tachyon Dragon, and then you can use that summon Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. And then you can only activate rank up magic the 7th one, or you can only activate or you can only use. Okay, you can only apply the effect of rank up magic the 7th one once per duel, but that's fine because there are actually loopholes to get around that. And then next, I play 3 copies of Trade-In. Trade-In just lets you discard a level 8 monster to draw 2 cards. And then next, I play 3 copies of 7th Ascension. 7th Ascension has the effect that you can add a 7th Rank Up Magic Quick Play, or a Baryons card from your deck to your hand. And then if your opponent has a monster on their field that was special summoned, then you can banish this card from your graveyard, or that was special summoned from the extra deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, discard a Rank Up Magic card in your hand, and then apply it, and then you can its effect becomes that card's effect when activated. So this will let you use a Rank Up Magic, the 7th one that's just sitting in your hand. And then next, I play 3 copies of 7th Tachyon. 7th Tachyon has the effect that you can reveal a number monster in your extra deck has a number from 101 to 107. In this case, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. To then be able to add, from your deck to your hand, any monster that has the same type, and then either the same attribute or level as that revealed monster. So in this case, you would reveal Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, so then you can add any light dragon or a level 8 dragon from your deck to your hand. And then you take 1 card from your hand and put it at the top of your deck. And I believe it also locks you into Xyz monsters for the rest of the turn, which, yeah, you can let some monsters from the extra except for Xyz monsters, but that isn't an issue. As there is a Link monster in this deck, but you never actually summon it. And then next, for the traps, I play 1 copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast just has the effect that during the end phase, you can take a branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard and place it face up in your spell trap zone. And then its other effect is once per turn, if you have a Bestial on your field, then you contribute a dragon monster you control to then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy that target. And then lastly, I play 3 copies of the absolute best counter trap in the game. Just 3 copies of Tachyon Transmigration. Tachyon Transmigration can only be activated while you control a Galaxy Eyes monster. Or I believe it has to be a Galaxy Eyes. Nope, just a Galaxy Eyes monster. But when it cannot be activated as Chain Link 1, must be activated as Chain Link 2 or higher, which is a counter trap, so obviously it would. But what it does is, when it's activated, it negates all your opponent's cards and effects in the chain before it, and then shuffles all cards that are on the field back into the deck. And the dumb part of this is that it is not once per turn, but you can only activate 1 Tachyon Transmigration per chain. That's its only downside, is you can only use 1 per chain. But considering this deck can easily get to all 3 of them, it's not that big a deal. But I believe it's currently a 43 card deck, but it's extremely searchable, so that shouldn't be that big an issue. Moving on to the extra deck, I play 2 copies of Satellite Dragon. This card is only in here for Dragoxion's effect, but it has the grave effect of you can banish this card from your graveyard to then target, or as a quick effect, to target a number monster you control, and its attack becomes equal to the number in its name times 100. So you use this on Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, and its attack becomes 10,700. And then next, because this is the FTK variant, I play 1 copy of Numeron Dragon. Numeron Dragon can detach material to increase its attack or make its attack become equal to the combined ranks of all Xyz monsters in play times 1,000. This is usually the monster you will tribute with Catapult Turtle as you'll make this. It's as long as its attack is 16,000 or higher, Catapult Turtle contribute it to then inflict 8,000 points of damage. I think with my math, it usually gets to be like 17,000, so it does 8,500, but that's beside the point. And then to search for the Catapult Turtle with 7th Tachyon, I play 1 copy of Chaos number 101 Silent Honor Dark, as it is a level 5 Aqua monster, so 7th Ascension will let you grab any level 5 Aqua or Water Aqua monster with you reveal this card. And that's its only purpose. And next I play 1 copy of number 104 Masquerade and Chaos number 104 Umbral Horror Masquerade. These two are the only non-Dragon Xyz monsters you would summon. And unfortunately, in order to summon them, or if you do summon them, that looks you out of Infinity Dragon, but that's fine. Because what you really want is Umbral Horror Masquerade's effect. Because when it is summoned, I have to remember what it is, you can target a spell trap on the field and destroy it, and then if your opponent activates a card or effect, you can detach material to then negate that card, rip a card out of your opponent's hand, and have their life points. I figure if I'm playing Rank Up Magic the 7th one anyway, might as well play 1 copy of both of these. Next, I play 2 copies of Divine Golden Shadow Dragon, Dragolyxian. Dragolyxian has the effect of when summoned, you can add a Tachyon card from your deck to your hand. And then, once per turn, you can detach 2 materials to then use this to summon a Dragon Number monster, or a Dragon Xyz monster, and then you can attach another card from your deck to it as material. So usually you'll have this attach the Satellite Dragon, and then you'll summon Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. And then next I play 1 copy number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Hope Harbinger is just in this deck as it is a spell negate. As your opponent activates a spell card or the effect of a spell card, Hope Harbinger negates it and then attaches it as material. So Hope Harbinger is really good at negating things that also have grave effects. Which, as long as Hope Harbinger is on the field, they shouldn't get to the graveyard, so they shouldn't be able to use their effects. And then next I play 3 copies of Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. You don't really need to play 3, but I like playing 3. Tachyon Dragon has the effect at the start of the battle phase, quick effect. You can detach a material to then negate the effects of all their monsters on the field and return their attack points to normal. And then it also has the effect that if your opponent activates a card or effect during the battle phase, then Tachyon Dragon will gain 1,000 attack and the ability to attack a second time for each card activated. So, one thing I liked was I was playing against someone at my locals with this deck, and he had summoned one of the Sky Striker fusions that floats after it's destroyed. Well, Tachyon Dragon attacked over it with 10,700. He had 300 life points left, so he used its effect, not realizing Tachyon Dragon would then be able to attack again. So he summoned the thing in attack mode, again, not realizing Tachyon Dragon just swing again, but Tachyon Dragon gained 1,000 attack points and smack again for game. Next, I play 1 copy of number 97, Draglubian. Draglubian will let you summon Numeron Dragon and then equip another number dragon monster from your extra deck to it as material. However, if you use that effect, then Numeron Dragon is the only monster allowed to attack, which is fine, because if you're summoning this, it's because you have the FTK and are ready to pull it off. And then lastly, for the extra deck, I play 2 copies of Chaos number 107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon has the effect that it can detach a material to then make it so that for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. And then if it has Tachyon Dragon's material, you can then activate its effect to tribute 2 other monsters on the field, so it can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during that battle phase. And that's it for the extra deck. Now I will go over the FTK combo, which just requires any card, and Infinity Dragon. So what you do is you special summon Infinity Dragon with its effect, and then you summon Galactic Spiral Dragon. Overlay these for, where is it? Dragluxian. Dragluxian will activate its effect to then grab Tachyon Primal Dragon. It will then activate Primal's effect, summoning itself, and then adding 7th Tachyon. Then you will use the 7th Tachyon. I guess from here it doesn't matter if you use 7th Tachyon or Dragluxian, but I'll just do Dragluxian just to get it out of the way. You'll activate Dragluxian's effect, detaching 2 materials, to then attach it with Satellite Dragon, and then summon Tachyon Dragon. And now, since you have 2 light dragons, Spiral Dragon can summon itself. Overlay these for, where'd you go? Draglubian. Activate Draglubian's effect. Detach material. Then attach a Tachyon, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon as material for Numeron Dragon. Activate Numeron Dragon's effect. Detach material, so now its attack becomes 17,000, since the combined ranks of the 3 disease monsters in play are 7, or 17. Then you'll use 7th Ascension, or 7th Tachyon, reveal the Silent Hunter Dark, to then grab Catapult Turtle from the deck. And then this is where the another card comes in. As you add Catapult Turtle to hand, and you put 7th Ascension on top of the deck. Or 7th Ascension. The 7th one. Then you tribute Draglubian, summon the Catapult Turtle, use Catapult Turtle's effect, tribute the Numeron Dragon. So now you inflict 8,500 points of damage. And that is the FTK, which is actually a lot simpler than I thought it would be. But that is it for the deck profile. If you have any ideas of what can be done to improve the deck, feel free to comment down below. I always read the comments. One thought I have had was, instead of the Bestials, play the Horus engine, as that can get into rank 8s a little faster than the Bestial engine. But for now, I actually really like Bestials in the deck, so I'll just go with that. Like I said, if you have any comments, I always read the comments. And then if you have any ideas for decks I can see be made in the future or face each other, as I'm currently working on trying to get Galaxy Eyes versus Utopia, Tachyon Dragon versus Photon Dragon, Utopia versus Heraldic Beast, just because I really, really like the new Heraldic Beast cards. Which, that deck profile should be coming up soon, as long as I'm able to get everything, which, considering the highest rarities in Ultra, shouldn't be too hard. But if you're still here, then leave a comment if you have any ideas. And then thank you for watching. And I always read the comments.